Welcome to your Daily Writing Habit, episode number 510. If you are writing a book or thinking about it, or maybe you've started writing your book but you need some help getting it done, you are in the right place. Good morning. Happy Thursday. I'm your host, Christine Whitmarsh, also known as Christine Inc., like that stuff we write with. Each day I'm sharing with you the writing habits I've learned over my 19 years as a ghostwriter, book coach, and author. I have found that 3 things in particular have a huge impact on your success as an author, and they have the ability to turn someone who barely sees themselves as a writer into a published book author. Those 3 things are writing fundamentals, productivity, and mindset habits. Here's today's quote. "The man who writes about himself and his own time is the only man who writes about all people and all time." George Bernard Shaw, very quotable kind of guy, apparently. So once again, good morning, happy Thursday, and let's talk about building rapport with your readers, something so important, because as I tell my clients a lot, believe it or not, there are a lot of people who don't make it past the introduction of a book. So it's very, very important for you to make that your job from page 1 to build rapport with your readers and keep them engaged throughout your book. It's one of the most powerful things you'll do as an author. Holding your reader's attention from beginning to end not only creates an awesome reader experience, but it also increases the odds that they'll tell other people how amazing your book is. So here are some of my strategies for earning and holding your reader's attention. The first one is, of course, obvious one, story. Especially for you nonfiction authors, telling stories is your best go-to writing tool. When in doubt about how to make a point or how to explain a complicated concept, rather than over-explaining and possibly confusing your readers, tell a story. We humans learn through stories. It's a proven fact, proven researched over and over again. Another way is through failure. That's right. Share your failures, your mistakes, your vulnerabilities. And again, speaking to nonfiction authors today, your mistakes, your vulnerabilities, and as much emotional detail as you feel comfortable with, even if it feels uncomfortable. The universal truth is everyone can relate to making mistakes, getting stuck in something, and learning from others. Admitting your shortcomings is one of the I'm going to say it over and over again, strongest ways to connect with your readers. And the next one is universal truths. And we're going to dig into this a little bit. There are certain universal truths that this is what I call them, that as human beings, we can all relate to. As a result, they can be powerful premises for stories. Again, now this is fiction or nonfiction stories. Even if readers don't consciously realize it, their minds are naturally being drawn to the familiarity of these truths. Think of common plot formulas, quote unquote, the formulas used in movies and TV shows over and over again. Romeo and Juliet, Robin Hood, underdogs coming out on top, triumph over extreme circumstances. Over and over, those formulas work because they are universal truths that we as humans can relate to. Here are some other examples of universal truths that you can play with in your stories to bond with your readers. The first one is stress. Well, that's pretty appropriate for this year, right? Stress. It's pretty self-explanatory, especially for authors, and again, especially in 2020. Stress is definitely a universal truth. Stress and tension, trials and tribulations of life. The next one is societal issues. Now, these are the trials and tribulations and power struggles of individuals being forced to live in systems designed by other people. These are big in sci-fi, obviously, sci-fi stories. But, in real life, a job, a neighborhood, a community group, for instance, a parents' organization at your kid's school, or on a larger scale, entire national infrastructures. The universal truth about societal issues is not so much about the system itself, but specifically about the individuals trying to fit into those systems. Sometimes it's very much a square peg, round hole kind of story. So that's another truth to play with in your stories is societal issues. The next one is love and acceptance, which is the struggle between wanting it, denying we want it, and what happens when we don't get it, and then what happens when we do get it. Love and acceptance. The next one is chasing happiness. Similar to love and acceptance, anytime we want and chase something that eludes us makes for a great tension-based story premise, chasing happiness. The next one is mental chatter. That's another one we get as authors, right? All the struggles that come with the elusive state of quote unquote being present and blocking out negative self-talk. So for nonfiction authors, you might ask yourself, how has mental chatter played a role in your life? Or for fiction authors, you might ask, what sort of mental chatter do your characters experience, and how does it affect their choices? And the next one is money. Money is totally a universal truth. We all can relate to that. How did something that is technically nothing more than a system of barter become the subject of all this internal and external warfare? Somehow, economic barter has invaded philosophy, religion, mindset, and so much more. And it's always a great source of friction for a story. Money as a universal truth. And the final one is change. Of course, that's the one constant in life, whether we like it or not. Change, and the word of the year here, uncertainty. That's definitely the word of 2020. I guarantee that almost every event of significance in your life story had something to do with change, and usually one that you did not see coming. Every single one of your readers can relate to change because every single one of them has experienced it on some level. So I hope these kind of rapport builders and universal truths and all sorts of ideas today, hopefully that you can use in your writing. Thank you for joining me here on Your Daily Writing Habit, where I am out to help you write and finish writing an awesome book. And I would love to see you in my Ink Authors group, INK, Ink Authors on Facebook. And please let us know how we can support your writing goals. Until tomorrow, happy writing.